5 million Syrian refugees in the world, and the number is only rising. Since 2013, the number of refugees has increased by 900%, not to mention over 6 million people displaced in Syria. So how did it get to this point? What caused all these refugees to flee their country? It is important to recognize that these people do not want to be refugees. They do not choose to leave their homes, families, neighbors, jobs, and friends to become strangers in foreign lands. Most refugees are displaced from the people they love and are forced to assimilate with new people, cultures, and languages that they are less familiar with. These refugees are just victims of complicated political strifes in the area. So what are the complicated political strifes that caused this issue? The history of this situation can be traced back in time over decades. However, the violence of the current Syrian crisis erupted in March 2011. During the Arab Spring, there was a series of uprisings across the Middle East. Assad, the president of Syria, began to jail and kill his citizens who were peacefully protesting for democracy. The more the protesting continued, the more violent torture mechanisms were used by Assad. A large part of the Syrian army left and joined together as the Free Syrian Army. The various rebel groups have different goals and different visions for their country. Some of them are allies with each other, and some of them do not support each other. Their ties are very complicated, as some of them are pro-democracy and others support Al-Qaeda. Meanwhile, Assad is still using very violent torture techniques on his own people, including chemical weapons. During this time of intense conflict and complicated political ties, the people of Syria have gone through terrible bloodshed and horrendous attacks being caught in the middle of this civil war between Assad and the rebels. To get away from the war, Syrians are fleeing their homes to start new lives as refugees in different countries. Take a second to consider this. A powerful leader emerges in your country, and gradually the tensions start to build between those in favor of this person and those opposing them. One day, the arguments turn violent. You see your little sister crying after the town nearby is bombed. Everyone is scared and does not know what will happen next. However, there is nothing to do except flee and leave everything you know behind, or stay and hope things get better. Your family and many others in your town decide to stay. Your family has lived in this town for generations, and your father has a stable job, and your grandma is too sick to travel. A few weeks later, the elementary school in your town is bombed, and you find that your sister and mother were both killed. At this point, your family decides to leave your country. Your country has become a battleground, and its people are just buffers in between these two opposing forces. Nowhere is safe. You travel with thousands of other people for days without a place to stay. When you finally make it out, years later, you are allowed to enter another country. Everyone in this new country stares at you like a subhuman foreigner as you struggle to learn a new language in days. The people of this new country associate you with the same people who killed your mother and sister. Does this sound familiar? Well, this is what is happening in Syria and what happens to most refugees during civil wars. You see, these are real people who have no intention to leave their country until they are given no choice. These are students, doctors, mailmen, teachers, engineers, brothers, mothers. They are all real people with stories, people who are defined by more than just their nationality. So what is the best way to help these refugees? Since it's hard to enter the country due to violence, donating things like canned food and clothes is impractical. The best way to help these refugees is to donate to an organization that works directly with them to give them basic necessities. If you would like to donate to the cause, you can see the link below or on the screen to donate to our fundraiser for Syrian refugees through the International Rescue Committee. Their mission is to help people whose lives and livelihoods are shattered by conflict and disaster to survive, recover, and gain control of their future. As of now, 26 million people worldwide benefit from the IRC humanitarian programs and those of their partners. Every cent counts, so please donate when you can. In the words of David Miliband, now is not the time to be banning refugees. It is time to be embracing the people who are victims of terror. It is a test of our humanity. It is a test of our character.
So what you guys just watched was Isra and my final product for our senior project. We wanted to create a video that created empathy and awareness about the Syrian refugee crisis and the Syrian civil war. And we also wanted to, as you saw in the video, make a Crowd Rights fundraiser to donate to Syrian refugees to help them as well.
the current politics of the Syrian refugee crisis is that the reason why these people are leaving their country is because they were just trying to peacefully protest for democracy, but then the president started using chemical weapons and other violent torture mechanisms, and then that created like a lot of different rebel groups. And so like countries like the United States and Russia, well, Russia supports Assad, but like the United States doesn't know where to stand because the rebel groups have like such complicated ties, and they like change their ties a lot too. So like some of them support terrorist organizations, but then others like just want democracy. So like we obviously as the United States want to support the people who have democracy, but it's like too complicated to understand like look who supports what. And like meanwhile, while all this like crazy political stuff is happening, there are real people in Syria who just want to like live normal lives and are forced out of their country, and families are killed. It's a really sad situation.
So our big question was, how can we help the Syrian refugees? And so we watched videos and read articles, and we learned about the crisis, and we just like felt really passionate about helping them, and really wanted to help. And so the next step was figuring out like what the best way to help them. And we decided that was creating a CrowdRise fundraiser. In the video, you saw how there's a lot of war going on and stuff like that, and so really you can't get into Syria to help the refugees or around Syria, and so the best way to help was to donate money so organizations can work directly with them with that money. And so our goal is $1,000, and right now we have 300, but $300 would go a long way, even though we didn't meet our goal, but like every single cent counts, so that's good.
And some other questions that common questions I thought about the CrowdRise fundraiser is that even if we don't reach our goal, whatever money that we end up reaching will be donated, and the fundraiser still isn't closed, so like there's not like a deadline to meet the goal. So if you guys want to donate, you can let us know and we'll send you more. And so we did the CrowdRise fundraiser through the IRC, which is the International Rescue Committee. So the money that we get from the fundraiser is going to this organization, and their mission statement is to help people whose lives and livelihoods are shattered by conflict and disaster to survive, recover, and gain control of their future. So the IRC was just a great way for us because their website not only would give us a lot of resources on like information about like what's actually happening there, but they also work directly with the Syrian refugees, which is what we were really looking for in an organization, because we didn't want an organization that was going to take money for like other aspects of like running their organization or whatever. And so that's what we really liked about that.
And so we focused on two communities mainly for our project, and that was Mount Pleasant High School and the Social Media Universe. And so we wanted to get our high school involved and have high school students know more about the Syrian refugee crisis and the civil war, and just spread awareness about what they're going through and why they may be coming to different countries. Michigan is actually one of the states that is not taking Syrian refugees, and so I feel like a lot of people in Michigan don't actually know what they're going through. And then the Social Media Universe, we wanted to reach people from all over that we didn't know. Without using social media, we wouldn't be able to meet people that we didn't know. We were actually contacted by one lady who runs a humanitarian aid group on Facebook, and she was really surprised and really liked how young kids were getting involved in humanitarian aid work. And she even contacted me and messaged me and made a whole post on her Facebook page for humanitarian aid about our project and shared our video, and she was really proud that like 18-year-olds were getting involved, and that was really cool and wouldn't have happened if we weren't allowed to use social media.
Yeah, and so the impact that we had, as Hila said earlier, our two main goals of the project were to raise money and raise awareness. So with the raising money, we wanted to impact the Syrian refugees, obviously, by fundraising for their cause, and we wanted to find some quantitative ways to see whether or not we reached this goal. So the total views on YouTube is 130 plus. Every day it's been like increasing by a lot. So yeah, that's as of this morning. But the total shares on Facebook are 13 plus, and then the total likes from Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube are 84 plus, because me and Sila both shared it not only like on our social media accounts, but like also on like other like groups within Facebook that would be interested in it. And so another like just important thing to mention with like the social media universe is that like we're really like privileged to live in a day and age where we can like access people from like all over the world so easily. And so like Sila shared with that story about that lady who was like really affected by a project, and some lady we didn't even know. Like another thing that like we saw just yesterday was that like on the same day of the bombing that happened at Ariana Grande's concert, there was like another bombing in Syria where like over 65 people were killed, but like nobody hears about that because it's not in Europe, and so like a lot of our news and our media is like focused on like when white people die, and it's sad, but like you have to remember that like this kind of stuff happens every day, and you know, just be more aware of it.
Yeah. I guess we wanted to like use social media because, you know, you always see like news articles about things happening in Europe and the US and Canada and places like that, but you don't realize that like there are bombings every single day in Syria and the Middle East, and no one seems to talk about that. And so like we wanted to share a video so people knew. And so we learned a lot. We like we said, we like researched and stuff and learned about the politics of the Syrian civil war and the refugee crisis. And we wanted to like spread that awareness, I guess. And so through doing our project, we like learned a lot about that. And we also learned about the power of the community and the community in PHS and community in Mount Pleasant, and also like just social media and like meeting new people.
Definitely. And then just the other aspect of what we learned was the actual stories of the people, because like our original understanding of the Syrian refugee crisis was really like superficial. Like we understood there was something happening there, but we really wanted to like learn more. And we were able to learn a lot more about the politics, but like I think something that like helped us a lot in making our video was like hearing the actual stories of like the real people, and like that's what really like brought it to life and made this like a passionate project for us.
So I hope you guys like learned something about the refugee crisis and maybe are more empathetic towards their cause. And if you'd like to donate, we have the link to our crowd rise like on Facebook, on Instagram. You can find our video on YouTube also, and there's like a link below that. Or if you want, you could like give us cash donations, and we could donate that under your name